Why, hello, everybody. Just need some feedback from people if there's good sound here on the video.
At clipboard help.
And we'll wait just a couple minutes, see if anyone else comes in the chat too. I'm going to go through some of these questions here. Sound check. Guys, let me know if you can hear me, okay? Awesome. Great. Excellent. All right, we got 34 people in. That's good. Good start. Yeah, so a lot of people asking what the update is tonight. Tonight is the shut up, computer. Okay, the tonight is the first update of the transcripts. First major update, I should say. You know, there was some updates earlier this week, but on the transcript system, it's going to be the first major update for people that have been on path, and typically most of those people will have the 05 cycle code, and this is like that first really huge update where just a massive amount of people are going to see some updates on their transcripts. Hopefully those updates include the 846 refund issued code. If that does pop tonight into tomorrow and you get that refund issue code, it should be a deposit date for 2/23, which is going to be Wednesday. Okay, so if you can't access your transcripts, say you don't have an account and you haven't been able to verify your identity and get transcripts, obviously the update tonight wouldn't necessarily apply to you. But if you've been checking Where's My Refund, the next major Where's My Refund update will be on Saturday, early Saturday morning. So there'll be probably a small Where's My Refund update tonight for some people. And then that massive amount of people whose transcripts update tonight, and you could be included in that, but you wouldn't know if you can't check them. That next massive Where's My Refund update is going to be on Saturday. So that's what we're waiting on tonight. Tonight's at midnight, the first transcript updates will start occurring. If yours doesn't update right at midnight, don't worry. The transcript updates begin on early Thursday morning. They continue all the way through Thursday day. They can update anytime throughout the day. And then by the end of Thursday, I said Thursday. I meant Friday. Friday, they can update throughout the day from Thursday night or early Friday morning all the way up through the end of Friday. So if they don't update, then that would mean you'd probably have to wait another week until the next big batch update. And that's going to happen for everyone with an 05 cycle code. After this week, it's going to be that Friday batch update every Friday. So I saw someone ask what an 05 is. An 05 is if you were to look at your transcript on the code 150 line, it's at the top of the transaction list. It will have code 150, tax return filed. It will have like a processing date, and it will say cycle code. The cycle code would be 2022, which is 2022, the year that we're in. And then two numbers like 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11. It works all the way up through the weeks. That's the next two numbers is the week of the year. And the last two digits goes 01 through 05. 05 being the last day of that week's cycle. And 05 is technically Thursday. That's the day that that batch closes out. And then the transcripts update on Friday. So we always, even though 05 technically means Thursday on their cycle, we call 05 like a Friday update because that's the day you would actually see it on your transcripts. Once again, a lot of that information, if you can't check your transcript, that's not gonna help you too much. Just looking through some of these other questions here. So if you're in 05, you will update your transcript. If it's going to have an update, it's going to be late tonight, like early morning Friday. Like I said, all the way up through the day Friday. Juggernaut asked if there are any warning signs to look for codes on the transcript. That's a good question. I've actually had a few people message me today that they were concerned about some of the codes. There was two codes that popped in some of the updates. That soft update I talked about. Some people did get some codes on their transcript that are quite worrisome. The first one you'd want to look for, well, you really wouldn't want to look for because you don't want to see it, is 570. That's a freeze code. That means they're freezing your refund for some reason. It's typically done for a manual review. So if you look at your transcript after the update and you see at the bottom the last code there is a 570 and then like a 970 code, that's a notice issued after that. That means they're holding your refund for some reason and someone is manually looking it over. That means the system kicked it out into the review department and someone then has to look at it and see why it was kicked out, make sure everything lines up, and then if everything's okay, they put it back in the system and it goes back for processing. But that can take anywhere from a week to a couple months, depending on what the issue is and why it got kicked out. So if you see the 570 code, you really just have to sit and wait and hope that it's not too serious. A lot of people last year got 570 codes that claimed the recovery rebate credit. A lot of people that used the look back option saw the 570 code hit and they had to wait on the look back credit as well. But those aren't the only things that can hold it up. There's a lot of different things that can cause the 570 code. The other code that someone asked me about, actually a few people asked me about today, is code 420. And that's a really bad code. You do not want to see code 420 on your transcript. Code 420 is an audit. That means your return is literally being audited by the IRS. An audit is much different than a review. A review is something that's fairly simple, can take a while to sort out, but it's fairly simple. An audit is a lot more complicated. It can take a lot longer to sort out. They typically go through more than just that current tax year. They might look at a previous tax year. It's a lot of mailing stuff back and forth. They might ask you for proof of things you submitted on your return. It can take a while to sort out. So you really, really don't want to see a 420 code on your transcript because it's disastrous, guys. Disastrous to see that. So that's a code you definitely don't want to look out for. Really, the most important code that you want to see is that 846, which hopefully sometime early tomorrow morning, late tomorrow morning, many of us see that 846 refund issued code. So let me go back through some of these other questions. So we answered 05. If tomorrow is my 21st day, will I see the deposit? My status still says still being processed. So if your where's my refund is saying still being processed and it's your 21st day, that's why your status still says it's still being processed, because they take the bar away when the system knows you're not going to get it by the 21st day. Those changes in the where's my refund status occur automatically after set amounts of time. So like if you notice you had the bars and then a couple weeks later the bars went away, that's because they're no longer guaranteeing you're going to get that within 21 days of when it was accepted. So, but just because the bars disappear, It doesn't mean that you're not going to get it, within a week or a week or two after that. It used to mean years ago. I made a video like 5 or 6 years ago that talked about the where's my refund bars disappearing because you were under review, and at the time that was true. That was why they would disappear. But ever since the PATH Act was enacted, the bars disappear now. There's different stages where they disappear. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're under review anymore. It just means you're in that stack of returns that needs to get processed, and it's just taking a little bit longer because of the backup. And a big part of that backup is because of the PATH Act. Okay, I filed and I was accepted on the 26th, and the transcripts say NA, and I get an apology on where's my refund. Okay, I did a video on this last year, which this year has caught hold pretty good too, because this has happened for a lot of people this year. NA, it obviously means not available, and that's because your return hasn't finished the final stage of processing yet. So what happens is when your return is accepted, you e-file your return, it gets accepted into the IRS e-file system. It sits there in a queue. Once it's received and accepted, it sits in a queue to be put through the processing system. All the numbers get input. This is all done automatically. It's not done by a human being. This is all done automatically. But you have to remember there's millions and millions of returns. As I said in a video earlier today, there was 25 million PATH Act filers alone. And that's not even counting the other 50 million plus people that aren't on PATH Act. So there's all these millions of returns coming into the system all at once. And unfortunately, sometimes things get lost in the shuffle and returns get pushed back. They get resequenced, and those numbers don't get run through the system. You can't do millions all at once. So it's a process. So the NA on the transcripts just means that your particular return hasn't posted all those numbers to the system. As soon as your return gets put into the system for the final stage of processing, meaning like they're doing the final calculations of your numbers, that NA will go away, and then that draft of all those amounts will appear on your transcript. And then from there, that's when you would see the whole code. So it's at that final stage of processing a lot of times where the hold codes and the audit codes can pop up on someone's transcript, because that's the point where it's just about the final stage of processing is just about where they're ready to issue a refund, and the system does its final checks. And that's why sometimes it kicks those returns out for someone to review them manually if they have to. So the NA, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you've kind of been pushed back in line a little bit. Let's just say this. I'd rather have an NA and have to wait a little longer than have my transcript and see one of those 570 or 420 codes. That's not what I want to see. Yes, I hope it's an update for all of us as well. Once again, the update tomorrow morning, is going to be for the transcripts. History tells us it's really not going to be midnight. It's typically right around 2 to 3 a.m. The first really big batch of transcript starts updating, and then by 6, 7 a.m. an even bigger amount gets updated, and then throughout the rest of the day there's like trickles of people. I remember one year I checked at like 3 a.m. It hadn't updated. 3 a.m. on Friday. I checked later that morning at like 9:30 a.m. on Friday. It hadn't updated yet. I checked later that day at like 1 p.m. It hadn't updated yet, and then by like 3:30 it finally had updated with a refund issued code. So it can update at any point throughout the day. Where's my refund? Updates once a day. Usually I always tell everyone, check where's my refund after 6 a.m. That's going to be, you'll know it's finalized by then for the day. Transcripts, they can update all the way throughout the day. And that's because the batch update occurs on Thursday, and then over the next 24 hours, the system is just transferring that information to people's transcripts. And it takes time. As I said, this is millions of returns being done, millions and millions of returns being done. And the system's going, as fast as it can handle, which if we're judging by the server crash yesterday, who knows how much the IRS can handle right now. Yes, I really do hope everyone has a smooth tax season. myself included in that list. I really hope we do. Sorry, guys, I'm going further back into these questions. So if you've been commenting late tonight, I might not have seen it. Shakira Davis, you've asked if Chime could see a deposit early tomorrow. It's possible. I do know that Chime tends to post deposits. So if you have a date of 2/22, the thing that throws it off this time is that Monday is a holiday. So it's curious to see why or what's going to happen with those deposits. Actually, a lot of those people that have the 2/22 date, which is Tuesday, if Monday wasn't a holiday, you would actually be getting your deposit on that Monday because the update that happened on Where's My Refund should have been for Monday, but because of the holiday, it's going to be on Tuesday. But those early posting banks, sometimes Chime does it, sometimes NetSpend does it. They basically will post funds early if they get notification from the IRS that it's coming. It's completely up to your bank or your prepaid debit card or whatever you're using if they want to post it early or not. That has nothing to do with the IRS. They just send the money saying, it's available 2/22, and then the bank has the option once they have the money to make it available early or not. So once again, the update tonight is the transcript update, not Where's My Refund. As I said, there will be a small amount of Where's My Refund updates. Glad everyone can hear me. I'm now back at where people could hear me when I was doing my sound check. I'm glad that my information is the information you trust. I'm glad I can be of help. How accurate is TurboTax with refund dates? Not typically very accurate. They're well known for being pretty off on their refund. Once the tax season gets rolling, they're pretty accurate. But early on, if you're an early filer and you're one of those people that files in January, it's pretty inaccurate, honestly. But once the tax season gets going, if you've filed mid-February into March, they can be a little bit more accurate because now there's no more returns being held for Path Act. But the Path Act just screws everything up, guys. It just screws everything up. I have to ask, are those your paintings? Oh yes, these are 3 of my paintings. Hey guys, I got like 60 different paintings right now. For those that don't know, I'm going through. I'm painting every single painting that Bob Ross did on TV, and I'm eventually going to be selling them all and using them to start a charitable scholarship for my best friend Sarah, who passed away last year. She was a singer, so I'm going to do a scholarship for the arts for people. So I'm doing the paintings, and I'm going to eventually be selling them all and hopefully raising some money for that and helping people's dreams come true, I hope. But yeah, those are my paintings. 3 of them anyway. Is the IRS back working? So the transcript system, I got into the transcripts today. A lot of people have been able to. It's just working very, very slowly. Once you log in and you try to get in, you have to be able to, you just have to wait. Each page, instead of like loading immediately, it's been taking like a few minutes to load up, but it does eventually load up. So you just have to be patient. And we're talking from the login to the selection of like what you're doing it for. Like, I always just say federal tax or whatever. You don't have to give the file number there. And then once you get to the screen where you're picking your year, that can take a couple minutes for that particular transcript to load as well. Doesn't matter what year you're choosing. The servers are just slow. I mean, we have millions of people trying to look at their transcripts all at once, which I'm predicting now, tomorrow, probably going to be a crash and no one's going to be able to get into it. Because like I said, this is the first major batch update. There's going to be even more people checking their transcripts than there was earlier this week, I bet. I can almost guarantee it. So if you thought like Tuesday and Wednesday was bad, let's see what happens tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Yep, Desiree, TurboTax is not really accurate with the refund dates. You're absolutely correct. Let's see. Going through some of these. The look back option. Okay, so the look back option is for earned income credit. It gives people the opportunity if they first off you have to qualify for earned income credit. So if your income level is such that you qualify for earned income credit, the look back option gives you the choice to use your 2019 income and get that earned income credit amount if it's going to be more than the current year's earned income credit. So, just as an example, let's say that you made like $40,000 this year in earned income, and you have a family of 5, so you qualify for earned income credit. And then in 2019, you had a family of 5, and you made, let's say, $25,000 of earned income credit in earned income. Your earned income credit in 2019 would be more because you had less earned income, so your earned income credit would be higher. Using the look back option would give you the choice of using your 2019 income instead of your 2021 income to get the bigger earned income tax credit. It's perfectly legal to do. You're allowed to do it. It's just I always caution people when you're using new credits like that, if you want to take it and you take advantage of it, feel free to. But those new credits, I mean, it was new last year, so it's still kind of fairly new. Those types of things tend to hold up returns and cause them to process your return a little bit slower. So last year, 2 big things that happened were people used the look back credit and the recovery rebate credit, and there was millions of returns that were delayed for 2+ months because they were manually reviewing all those returns to make sure people actually qualified for those. So hope that answers somewhat of the question. And right after, we're back to the 420 question. Okay, so you have the 420, the 766, and 768. So 766 is your child tax credit. 768 is your earned income credit. Those are credits to your account that the IRS would add to your refund, would be paying on your refund. The 420, I explained earlier, is not a good code. That's the code. That's one of the codes you want to avoid. That is an audit code. So that could delay your refund dramatically if you have a 420. So you're pretty much in a wait and hold pattern, waiting for the IRS to contact you and see if they need any further information from you. Typically, they'll ask you for paperwork, a paper trail to prove the things that you're claiming on your return with a 420. It's not a good code. I cringe when I see people have that code. I feel so bad. I had that code myself about 6 years ago. I had an audit about 6 years ago. It took me about 7 months to sort it out. But once it was sorted out, the IRS actually owed me more than I had applied for on my return. So sometimes it can work to your benefit. It's just a wait. You have to wait. Will it update at 12? I can't answer that for sure, but I can tell you probably not. I expect, as I said earlier in the video, if you've joined us early on, I expect most of the updates are going to occur sometime between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m., and then there'll be trickles of updates throughout the rest of the day. As I said, this is going to be the biggest update there is. The biggest initial update there is. This is the first massive batch update that there will be on the transcript system. So that is going to take a while for them to do throughout the day. But we're hoping that most people are going to see it. It's typically on the batch updates, 70% of the people are going to get an 846 code. So those path filers that have been waiting, 70% of you are going to see an 846 code. The remaining 30% are going to get resequenced until the following week, or the update you're going to see is going to have one of those freeze codes, the 570 or the 420. But the vast majority of people that have been waiting, I'm estimating the cutoff date to be somewhere around February 11th. If your return was accepted before February 11th, you're going to hopefully see a transcript update on Friday and a Where's My Refund update on Saturday morning. I am apologizing to people that have been that are going to be sticking out this this stream, because you're probably going to hear about a lot of repetitive information as I go through the questions, because people are coming in later and asking some of the same questions, and I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to answer everyone's questions to the best of my ability. So, as of dates. So the as of dates on your return, they're automatic dates that the system puts in place. They're action dates. Think of it as like an automatic deadline, and then those can change. So I tell people I don't want to say they're meaningless, but it's like a deadline the system sets for itself to complete the next action on your return. So say your as of date was 2/22, it's setting a deadline of 2/22 to complete your whatever the action is. Could be finishing the processing, or say you have a 570 code and the action date on that is 2/22, the as of date. That is saying, after 2/22, that's when the next action would be performed on your account. So, as I said, it's not meaningless. It's like an automatic deadline that the system sets for itself. And you'll notice if you were to check your transcripts throughout the tax season, that as of date can change until your return is finally finished. Because they can just keep on pushing it forward and pushing it forward and pushing it forward. As a lot of people last year saw, particularly those that were waiting on the unemployment tax amendment. Can I file my last year's taxes after this year? Yes, you can. Don't be surprised if something gets held, but if you didn't file them, yep, you can absolutely file a previous year's tax return. I would definitely talk to your tax professional if you have one about how you would go about doing that and what order. I would always say don't ever file anything until you have your current year's return, unless they ask you to. If the IRS says they want you to file something with them, then you can do it. But until you have your current year's refund, don't send them anything else until they've paid you the refund you're waiting for, and then you can go ahead and do whatever else you're waiting to do, because sending them multiple things in the same year can delay a lot for you. So you don't want to delay anything any more than it already gets delayed. I may have missed it. Can you explain? No bars, no refund amount, and just the ending date of 2021 showing topic 152. Absolutely, I can explain that. So you get your bars. Some people never see bars, but for the most part, you get your bar saying your return was accepted. And then after so long, the system will automatically take that bar away. A lot of times it's because of the PATH Act, and they know they're going to have to hold your return. But the reason the system automatically takes the bar away is because they're no longer guaranteeing that you're going to get your return, your refund, within 21 days. So they can't guarantee it for a variety of reasons. For a lot of people, it's because of the PATH Act, but it could be because your return is just stuck in the pile of returns that needs to get processed by the system. It could be that it's being reviewed for some reason. But as soon as it gets to the point where they know your return is not going to be completed in that 21-day period, they're going to take that message away. And then you'll notice at some point the message changes again, and that's just an automatic thing that happens after so long after the initial thing. It's taking longer. They'll put another message out there. And now there was a couple new messages that happened this year where it apologizes for it taking so long, but there's a delay. It's an automatic generic message that happens. The topic 152, also a generic message that a lot of people will see, and it's just about generic information about tax refunds and the timing of refunds. Doesn't say anything specifically about your own situation. It's just a generic message that everyone gets at some point eventually. Hope that answers your question. Raider Nation. John Carter asked if they will be 222. Can't say. I mean, if you haven't seen our Where's My Refund update and you don't have access to your transcripts, or you've looked at your transcripts and you didn't have a date on your transcript, it's not going to be on 222. So hopefully you'll be in tonight's major batch update on the transcripts, and you'll see Where's My Refund update on Saturday. Okay, Marcus forgot to add a W-2. Will they automatically add it after they receive it from the employer? They typically will. You always have to hope that they don't catch that before they give you your refund. And then if they don't catch it, you can always just amend your return after you get your refund. Amend your return. You wait till you get your original refund. Then you can amend. Or sometimes, depending on the size of it, they might just see that the W-2 came in from your employer and automatically adjust your transcript, in which case they'll send you a bill if you owe any money. So what I would suggest is once you get your refund, stick a little bit of aside, and just in case you have to pay some of it back. My cycle code is 2022-06-05. So that means that it's this year, it's 2022. The 06 is the 6th week of the cycle, and the 05 is the 5th day of the cycle, which is Thursday. Transcript will update Friday. Where's my refund will update Saturday. So what it literally means is the 6th week of the 5th day of the 6th week in the cycle. What it means for you as far as like knowing when you're going to get your refund, it means that your transcript is only ever going to update on Fridays. That's when you're going to want to look for transcript updates. And your Where's My Refund's only going to update on Saturdays. And that's where you're going to see the update. Some people I saw some people saying they had 05s and they updated the other day on their transcript and they got a Where's My Refund update today. I looked back in some of my notes, and last year there was relatively few, but it did happen for a few people last year. The first week after Path lifted, some 05s got an early deposit before the rest of the 05s did. But after that first week, it was like clockwork. Everybody on the 05s only updated on Fridays. So it seems like the past couple of years, after the first week, it's all back to the normal cycle. So if you haven't had an update to this point and you're in 05, you're only ever going to see an update on Friday or on a Friday. I'm assuming it says processing that you're talking about Where's My Refund. You don't see this is Shelby. You don't see a direct deposit date on the transcripts, but your code is 2022-04-05, which is the 4th week, the 5th day of the cycle, and no bad codes yet. Could you get your refund before next Thursday? If there is potentially nothing wrong, you could, in theory, see that update tonight on your transcripts with direct deposit for Wednesday, the 23rd. So cross your fingers. I'm crossing mine for you. Hopefully it's good. The as of dates I talked about earlier. The as of dates are automatic deadline that the system is setting for itself for the next transaction on your account. Will 2022-06-05 be a part of the batch? I think it could possibly be part of this batch. So if mine is NA, can it be updated Friday or not? It can be updated. Yep, the only time the NA will update for you is going to be on a Friday anyway. So it could be any Friday. It could be tomorrow. So yes, the NA can disappear tomorrow and you could have your transcript available. I will say though, like it's unlikely if it's been NA up to this point, when it does update and if it was available to you tomorrow, you probably wouldn't see the 846 code yet because you probably missed the cutoff. So I'd be looking for the 846 code the following week. That's just realistic. I mean, I suppose it's possible you could see the 846 code for the refund, but in theory, you could see the transcript pop tomorrow, and it would probably be another week for the update for the 846. Still going through some of these questions. I just answered some of these for people, so I might go back and answer some of them again. Shelby, you're welcome. Anything I can do to help you guys. We're all in the same boat. We're all waiting. And I thought this would be a great idea for us all the way together. I mean, we might not actually see an update at midnight, but at least we got through some of it together. What if your recorded transcript says, I'm assuming that says record of transcript, says NA, but the account transcript is up there. Okay, so if there's NA on any transcript when you get to the transcript section, there's those 4 boxes, record of account, wages, and etc. If there's an NA on any one of them, your return isn't done yet. Once there's no NAs, that's when it's in the final stages of processing. So you can't really gather anything until all the NAs are gone. Okay, that's for Latrice Taylor. Do direct deposit on the transcript states 221. Do they do direct? No, they don't do direct deposits on holidays. I don't know that there was any 221 direct deposit dates. I think 222 was the next one. So if you do have a direct deposit date already, it's probably for 222 on Tuesday. And if you have one of those early posting banks, you might get it sooner. Tiffany, yours says that refund was issued on 846 220 DD of 222. Is it going to deposit? It's going to deposit by Tuesday. So you're in great shape. So I wouldn't be too stressed about it. If you got the 846 code for 222, you're in really good shape. Congratulations. A lot of us wish we were in the same boat. Marcus, I'm in Massachusetts. I'm right near Boston. And if you don't think I have a Boston accent, I think sometimes it comes through, but I spent most of my my life trying to get rid of it because I spent a lot of time working in radio, and they really train you to try to get rid of that Boston accent. Smokey, no. If you get the 21-day message and it hasn't updated, that does not mean you're being audited automatically. It just means that they're not going to guarantee it in 21 days. There could be any reason, any number of reasons that you're waiting and it's just not done yet. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being audited or reviewed. Like I said, I've been saying repeatedly in the video too, there's millions of returns. So the system, it gets overloaded, it kicks back returns, it resequences returns. So there's a various amount of reasons it could be taking a while, but it doesn't mean you're being audited. Audits account for like 3% of all returns. That's why when people get the 420 code, it's really bad because it's really unfortunate. Taj, the 421 code is actually the release code on the audit. So if you get a 420 and then you get a 421, that means the audit's like whatever the action was they were doing on that is complete. So the 421 is actually better than the 420. Any bad action, 570 is another one. 570 is a freeze code. The better action for the 570 is the 571. That's a release of the freeze. The 420 is the audit. The 421 is the release of the audit. You always want to see that same 570, 571, 420, 421. You want to see that next number in the sequence to know that whatever they were doing is released. Laurie, by the time I see this, you wanted to say thank you. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I missed you if you left already, but have a good night. And yes, everyone is. Good luck. The Johnson family wants to know how long they have to wait if they file with H&R Block. Well, no one tax preparation company is going to get you a refund any sooner, unless the tax company you filed with is terrible, in which case you would get one later. But H&R Block is a reputable company, so I'm sure you'll have to wait no longer or no sooner than anybody else has to wait. Let's go back through some of these questions. Let's see, trying to see if there's anything I haven't covered yet. I got a code 806. So I'm assuming this 806 is on your transcript. The 806 code is the withholding code. That's like the credits you get from whatever was withheld on your W-2s. That's not a concern. That's good. That's a credit to your account, basically. Brandon, 766, 768. Those are your child tax credit and earned income credit. The 4/15/22, those are like a lot of the dates you'll see 4/15/22. That's the close of the tax season. So a lot of on the transcripts, a lot of the dates will be dated for the close of the season. That has nothing to do with when you're getting a refund. That's an automatic date. No 846, and hopefully you do get an update tonight. Knowledge seeker. When does a garnishment show up in the process? Okay, if there is a garnishment, there is a code for that. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'd have to look through my IRS code book, but it would show up on the transcript for the amount that was garnished. And it would also show up when your Where's My Refund update. They would probably say there was an adjustment made on your Where's My Refund and the balance was being sent to you. Sometimes the garnishment can make it take longer if they have to review everything before they push it through for the final processing, but sometimes it doesn't affect the speed. In most cases, it won't affect the speed as long as everything else is correct. Sorry, guys. If the PATH Act is removed, when do you think we'll get our first DD? Oh, DD. Okay, so the first direct deposit for the fact of the first direct deposit is February 22nd for the small amount of people that got it the other day. But this big batch update we're talking about, the next PATH Act deposit is going to be the massive update. Tonight, massive transcript update. Saturday morning, massive Where's My Refund update, meaning the next large group of people getting their refunds is going to be on Wednesday, February 23rd. Hopefully you're in that group. Hope that answers your question, Henry. Bree asked if the cycle code is 2022-0405. Do I think it will update tonight with an 846 code? I'm going to think positively. I'm going to say yes, I do. I do think it's going to update tonight with an 846 code. As long as nothing's wrong. Will they be updating WMR today or tomorrow or Saturday? Okay, Where's My Refund? There's going to be probably a small update early in the morning. Probably for more 222 dates, if I had to guess. The big update is going to be Saturday. So probably, I think for most of us, the date we're going to be looking for on Where's My Refund, we're going to be looking for it to update on Saturday. This is a good opportunity to talk about the updates of when the updates occur. Okay, so the people that are 05s, specifically, as I said before, you're gonna see transcript updates on Friday. Your transcript is always going to update with an 846 code before Where's My Refund does. You can never, ever you'll never get a refund if there's no 846 code on your transcript. So if you check your transcript, if you have the ability to check your transcript, and you do not see the 846 refund issue code with that direct deposit date on it, then you're not ready. You're not in line to get a refund yet. You have to see the 846 code to be getting a direct deposit. And that's because the transcript is real-time information of what the IRS has done to your account. So everything they do is recorded on that transcript. That's a ledger of every occurrence on your tax account is done on that transcript. So if there's no 846 code, there's no refund going to you yet. You have to see that 846 code. That confirms that the refund's coming. With Where's My Refund, it was proved last year because there was literally millions of people that got refunds whose Where's My Refund never updated. I was one of those people included. I still had one bar after 3 months. I had gotten my refund 3 months before, and I just for kicks, I checked my Where's My Refund. It was still stuck on one bar. So Where's My Refund doesn't necessarily always update, but the transcript always does. The transcript is always going to update with an 846 when your refund's coming. So if you don't see an 846 on that transcript, there is no refund coming for you. So that's why we're really hoping we see updates tonight with the 846 code. Yes and no. Where's My Refund went from path info to only saying we have received a return and it is being processed. Yes, it's normal. Automatic. It happens automatically. Once Path Act lifts, that message is going to change, and then every message change in between is going to be like an automatic system thing that occurs after a length of time. TG Breaking News Global, you are correct. If you don't see an 846 code, you will not update on Friday into Saturday with Where's My Refund. It's plain and simple. You are correct. You will not see a refund coming until that you get that 846 code. Let me go back further. Jordan the Gamer says he got a date today. Congratulations. I said earlier there was a very few people with 05s that saw the updates, and this happened last year. The first week after Path lifted, there were some people with 05s, some, not a lot, some with 05s saw updates early on. But then after that first week, it was like it always is, where every Friday was the new batch of 05 updates. If you are under Path and have a 570 code since before Path lifted, can that be the reason for the 570 code? Catherine, it could be. It could be. But usually if there's a 570 code, it's for a different reason than Path. And I don't know your tax situation, so I can't speak to yours specifically, but there are a number of reasons that a 570 freeze code could happen, from the credits you claimed to dependents you claimed to any number of things. Maybe a small arithmetic mistake on the return. It could be any number of reasons. Something doesn't match up. Haven't honestly seen too many 570s just because someone has Path. A lot of people have Path and never see a 570 code. So chances are, if I'm being honest, it's something else on your return for the reason. And all you can hope for is that it's something simple and that they do that 571 release code fairly quickly. It can take anywhere from a week to, unfortunately, a couple months. But last year, I will say I was tracking this last year for a lot of people because I had a lot of people asking me this last year, and the average was 2 weeks. People would have a 570 code on their transcript for about 2 weeks, and then the following week after the second week, that Friday, they would see an update with the refund. So that was the average, was 2 weeks last year. There was people that went longer, but the average was 2 weeks. So that's the best I can tell you. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. Trying to go back. Yep, breaking news global. We do not want 420 code. I've gone through that a couple times tonight. 420, 570. Those are codes you want to avoid. The 971 code is a letter. It could be, the 971 code isn't always bad. I mean, they sent 971. They put 971 codes after the stimulus payments were made, but if you see a 570 and a 420 and then a 971, that means something's not good. 570 is indeed a bad code. It's a freeze code. NA on the transcripts just mean it's not in the final stage of processing yet. Go back through some of these questions, see if there's anything I missed here. Oh, Chris Pickering asks if the TurboTax blue bar updates automatically after 21 days. Yes, we established this early on in the stream that TurboTax is really pretty well known for not being exactly accurate with their direct deposit predictions. Other than that, TurboTax, great company. I use them. It's fine. I'm not slamming TurboTax. It's just their direct deposit estimates are not accurate. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through these dates. I want to make sure I'm going through these questions. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody, or if I have to go back and answer some again, I will if I have to. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people double checking if 05 transcripts are updating tonight. 05 transcripts, I mean, we're saying tonight, but it's overnight. It's in the early hours of the morning. It will begin. I'm estimating approximately it seems to go the way it goes with the transcripts. Updates on Fridays is around 1 a.m. You'll see a few people start reporting that they're seeing 846 codes hit their transcript. And all through the morning, it continues the slow roll of transcripts updating, and it can update all throughout the day. I gave the scenario where a couple years ago, I checked at like 3 a.m. I hadn't updated on Friday. I'm an 05er as well. I checked again at like 7 or 8 a.m. It hadn't updated. 9:30 hadn't updated. 1 o'clock it hadn't updated. And then by 3:30 p.m. I had an update with an 846 code. So they absolutely can update throughout the day if you're on 05 anytime Friday. So the transcript update will be tonight if you're on 05, or early tomorrow morning into tomorrow. And then the Where's My Refund update will be on Saturday. Where's My Refund only updates once a day. So after you've checked in the morning, after like say 6 a.m., it's not going to update again the rest of the day. So Code 806, that is your withholding amount. It is a credit to your account because that's taxes you already paid throughout the year. That's like if you have a W-2 job, they take taxes out of your check. That's money you already paid, so that gets credited to your tax account. So the way that's calculated, the way your refund is calculated on your transcript, on that first line with the tax return filed, you're going to see a positive dollar amount. That's the amount of tax you owe for the year, and that's before all the other calculations are done. So that's when you input all your earnings and withholdings, before all the withholdings and credits are deducted, that positive number you see on the first line where it says like tax return filed and there's a dollar amount there, that's the amount of tax you owe for the year. And then they deduct your withholding, your child tax credit, your earned income credit if you have that, whatever other credits you claimed, that's all deducted. And then that leaves a negative number, which is your refund amount. If you were to look at your transcript and you see all those credits, you don't have an 846 number yet, you were to look at your transcripts. If you were to look at the top left corner where it says account balance, there would be a negative number, say like negative I don't know, 5,633, whatever. That negative number on the account balance, that is your refund amount after all those calculations are done. Once your refund issued, that account balance will get zeroed out. So once your numbers are put into the system and the credits are added and the withholdings all added, that account balance would have that negative number in the top left corner. That's your refund amount. That's your final refund amount. And then when the refund gets paid, all that gets zeroed out. So if you were to check your transcript after you got your refund, you would see account balance $0. As of date. So the as of date is it's a deadline that the system automatically sets for itself to perform the next action on your account. The as of date can change. You might see the as of date be like February 14th, and then your return isn't finished processing by then. They can push the as of date out another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The system can do whatever it wants to do. Basically, if it knows it's not going to be completed by then, it can just change the as of date. So it's means very little in relation to when you're getting your refund. It's an automatic date that the system it's a deadline for the system to perform its next action. Yes, Poison One, check their transcripts. It took 5 minutes to get in. It's probably going to be even worse in the morning because we all know there's going to be a massive update tonight. So it's going to be way worse trying to get into the transcript system. I know it's a party. I'm drinking water, guys. I'm sorry. At least it's fancy water. Chris, how do you check your transcripts? You have to go into the irs.gov website, go into check transcripts, and you have to have either a Real ID Me, whatever it's called, account, or an IRS tax account if you have one of those, and log in through those. If you don't, you have to create an account, verify your identity, and then they will let you in. It's a process. Some people have a hard time of verifying their identity. You need like an actual credit card or something to prove like you're you. But once you get in, once you create that account, that's how you would check it. You would click the Get Transcript option and log in from there. Don't forget your passwords. Write everything down. Keep them safe. Life be me. My 806 is missing. I have 570 with no 971. Do you think wage verification? That is almost certainly what it is. They're probably waiting for confirmation from employer before they apply that withholding credit, which is why there is no 971 for you yet, because they're probably not requesting information from you. They're probably requesting it from the employer, if I had to guess. I don't know your personal tax situation, but that's just based on the information you're getting me there. That might be what it is. Will 2022-05-05 update tonight? Yes, pretty much everyone with an 06, 05, 05, 05, 04, 05, 70% of you are going to see an update. We hope. We're basing this off history. I'm basing all this off of my knowledge of the system and the history that we have with the system. So these are estimates. But they're educated estimates based on my knowledge of the system. Should the majority of us have 2 bars in the morning? No. No one's going to have two, not no one, but there will not be a massive amount of people with 2 bars on Where's My Refund tomorrow morning, because the Where's My Refund is always a day behind the transcripts. So a massive amount of people are going to have transcript updates tomorrow, which means their Where's My Refund updates with the 2 bars will occur on Saturday morning, not Friday morning, Saturday morning. So I do think a majority of people will have 2 bars on Saturday morning. The PATH Act lifted for the daughters and the return status. This is from Kamika. The PATH Act lifted off of her and her daughter's return status, but she has a bar and saying hers is in process, and hers is saying it's in process, but they have no bars. Automatic thing that occurs after a certain amount of time of being in the system. So not necessarily anything to worry about. It just means that 21-day period, that 21-day waiting period of a refund is going to probably come and go. almost always because of the Path Act, really. And then, hopefully you'll be in one of these next couple batch updates. So not necessarily anything to worry about when the bars disappear. There was a time a couple of years ago when that would be worrisome, but ever since the Path Act was passed a couple of years ago, that changed everything. Will I do another video tomorrow? I will probably do an update video, hopefully a celebration video of a large amount of people seeing some 846 codes on their transcripts. Otherwise, I might have to make a video saying, sorry guys, I was wrong, which I can't imagine I would have to do, but I hope I don't have to do that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right, and there's going to be a massive amount of 846 codes. And I truly apologize to those people that are going to miss out on it, because I just looking through some of the comments and seeing some of the codes that people have, there's going to be some people that don't get an update with a refund tomorrow. I'm sorry for those people. I feel bad. I've been there a couple times, so I know the frustration level. The frustration level is high for a lot of people, and I totally understand it. Code 150 means your tax return is on file. That means you file your tax return. The system has posted it to the system. Not a bad code, just means your tax return is on file. That's what code 150 means. Hope that answers your question, Ashley. I actually have a video on that if you want to check it out. It's only a couple minutes long. I made it last week. Which transcript do you look at? Good question. I probably should be specifying this. I don't know why I didn't. Guys, you want to be checking the account transcript, not the wage and income, not the return transcript, not even the record of account. Check your account transcript. That's the one you're looking at. That's the one that has all the information we're talking about. The account transcript. Wow, I've been doing this for an hour. Okay, guys, I'm going to be going back through some of these questions again. I apologize if there's a delay in me answering some of these. Got a lot of people asking questions, which is good. This gives us material to talk about and pass the time. So, Kevin, I'm the only one that seems like I know what I'm talking about. I'm glad I saw you on YouTube. Thanks. I appreciate it. Listen, I don't want to belittle anyone else on YouTube. I know there's some people on YouTube giving some good information, but frankly, a lot of their information is coming from me. And the only reason I know is because I've been doing this for, like I've said, almost 12 years now. And there's been a lot of information that wouldn't be public knowledge from like interviews I've done with people that developed the e-file system, IRS employees. There's things that the public wouldn't know that I've said in my videos. And all of a sudden there was people popping up in their videos giving information that wouldn't otherwise be public knowledge. So also, I can tell you what happened, because if you really wanted to know, it's kind of comical, actually. Last year I had a couple of my videos go viral. And when I say viral, I mean in relation to my channel size. I am a small channel, 5,000 subscribers. Last year I had been hanging around like 2,000 subscribers for a good 7 or 8 years. And then I had a video go pretty viral. It hit like a couple 100,000 views really quickly within less than a week. And I think a lot of people saw my tax videos just exploding early in the tax season last year. My subscriber count doubled. My viewership quadrupled. My revenue skyrocketed. And I think a lot of people noticed that. Some people and said, oh, and they were looking for a way for their vlogs or whatever to get popular. So they decided to start covering the tax stuff too. I'm not necessarily saying they ripped off my tax stuff. What I'm saying is they saw that my tax stuff was getting popular. So they decided to cover it as well. Nothing wrong with that. I can appreciate anyone trying to make a buck and make a name for themselves. That's fine. I do have a problem when people take information that I have and try to profit off of it, because I had to lay down the groundwork to actually go get that information. I had to put in the work to talk to people and interview people. I've been the one that was researching it I really got in-depth investigative journalism on some of the things in the system that I had to put all that work in for. So I have a little bit of a problem with people profiting off of that. I also have a problem with people that were just flat out taking my videos and posting them as their own. I had to report a few people for that last year. They were literally downloading my videos and putting them up on their YouTube and monetizing them. So I had to report that too. But listen, I like the reason I put this information up for people not to profit, for people to actually help, because there was a time when I desperately felt like I needed help with some of this stuff because I was so stressed out about it. So that's why my whole goal here is to, help you guys and relieve some of that stress and answer your questions and hopefully get you through this process. It's a very it's a messed up system we live in. There's so many people that count on their refunds every year just to get by, and that's not the system we should live in, but it is the way it is. So anything I can do to help you guys, I'm going to try to. Stoner Rich asked about the 570 code. That's a refund hold code. There could be any number of reasons. If there's no 971 code, I would honestly have to know what else is on your transcript. If you see no withholding on your, like if it's a withholding amount is missing, it might be because they're doing wage verification. There could be any number of reasons. So what you'd be looking for on an update would be for the 571 code first. There'd be a 571 release code, and then that refund issued code would happen. I said earlier, someone asked me about this earlier, the 570 codes last year, the average was about 2 weeks. So someone would see the 570 code hit, and on average, it was about 2 weeks before the 571 release code and the 846 code would pop. And yes, there were some that were longer, but the average was about 2 weeks. So Guilty Sins says they have a 221-22 date and a cycle code of 2020-0505. Is that 2020-0505 or 2022-0505? Are you looking at the right transcript? But if the 0505 is correct, you could see an update tomorrow as long as nothing is wrong. Rosemary, I am answering questions. Feel free to ask away. After next Wednesday, one of the next direct deposit dates, they will be. So, listen, everyone, the direct deposits can happen. They pretty much happen Mondays, Wednesdays, every day of the week except for Friday. Friday is the day that's reserved for checks. So people that don't do direct deposit but get checks, that's when the checks get mailed out, is on Fridays. So Monday through Thursday is direct deposits. But after this week, the only days that people that have a cycle code ending in 05 would expect to see a direct deposit would be on a Wednesday. So every Wednesday would be the direct deposit date for people with an 05 on their cycle code. As I said, yes, very few people with 05s. And when I say very few, like it's a lot of people, but very few in relation to the people that were on Path Act. Very few people with 05s will see a Tuesday direct deposit from the first week of the Path Act lift. But after that, it goes right back to the normal cycle where it's only on Fridays that the transcript updates, with the Saturday Where's My Refund update and the Wednesday direct deposit. I got you, Guilty. 2022, that's fine. 150 code. That just means your tax is on file. That means you filed your tax return. It's posted to the system. Not a bad code. 150, not bad. 971 issued, not necessarily bad. Could be a letter for any number of reasons. Sometimes it just clears itself up. Yeah, guys, the tax topic disappearing on your Where's My Refund? The message changes automatically. The system programs changes automatically after certain lengths of time. There's no rhyme or reason as far as like you're not going to be able to deduce anything about your refund from whether tax topic 152 is there or whether it's not there. All it means is that time has passed, right? That's like it's telling you information you already know. I've had to wait. That's what it means. So it's you can try to read into it, but there's other than it telling you that you're missing that 21-day window. That's pretty much all it tells you, really. Because anytime, your bars could come back anytime. As soon as that refund issue code is on your transcript, your bars, in theory, should come back on Where's My Refund. Lotus, the transcripts, the 05 transcripts will update early Friday morning. So overnight tonight, early Friday morning. I know a lot of people are thinking midnight. Realistically, it's going to be after that 1 to 3 a.m. period when the systems update. That's when those transcripts will start updating. And then you're going to see a giant flood of updates in the early morning hours, but they can continue throughout the day on Friday. As I said, someone asked earlier if I was going to be making a video tomorrow. I'm hopefully going to be making a video celebrating people seeing the 846 code on their transcripts after the first massive update. But if I have to, I'll make an apology video saying I was wrong, but I don't think I'm going to have to, honestly. I hope I don't. Guilty says a video saying the processing message on where's my refund if means you have an error on the transcript. Listen, there was a time, I'm not going to fault anyone, but this is why I said this is how I can tell people copy some of my videos. I have a video from like 7 years ago I did that talks about if your bars go away and you have that processing message on where's my refund, it means you're being reviewed. Because at the time that I made that video, that was what it meant. That was literally, if you looked on the IRS website, it said if your bars go away and you have the processing message, then your return is under review. It literally said that. So I made a video about it. But that has since changed, and the policy has changed since the PATH Act. And they've implemented these changes in the system where the messages just change automatically, regardless of what's happening on your transcript. Regardless of whether you're getting your refund or not anytime soon, those messages change. That's why I said you can't read too much into them. So, yeah, it's laughable. But Chris, you've been here since the beginning of the chat. I've talked about the NA on the transcripts a couple times. I hope you saw it. But NA just means that your return isn't in the final stage of processing yet. So once your return has entered that final stage of processing and they start posting all those numbers to the system for finalized processing, then those NAs disappear. But just because the NAs disappear doesn't mean you're fully done. It just means that your return's in the final stage. That final stage of processing can take different times for different returns, depending on what's going on with that person's account. Some people have freezes for a reason or whatever. So that final stage can take a little bit longer for some people than others. Sometimes it's just immediate. You'll get the NA, the transcripts will be available, and you'll see a 570 code. If your transcripts have been up to this point this week, I wouldn't expect to see a 570 code overnight into tomorrow. You might see a transcripts available, but you might have to wait another week before you see that. Not 570, 846 code. You might have to wait another week before you see your refund issue code. Claudina, hope I can help you learn as much as you can. So a lot of people in the same boat, waiting for that transcript system to load. I'm calling it now. If I had to place money on it, I'd bet like $30 million. I don't have that, but I would if I could. That there's going to be a massive crash tomorrow because I think this is going to be the biggest update we have to this point in the year. And I think there's going to be even more people checking tomorrow, the transcript system than were on Tuesday and Wednesday when it crashed. It's going to be even more, I think. 9711 code is a letter issued code on a notice issued code on your account. Usually there's some reason for it. Not always bad. They put the 971 code on people's stimulus payments, and a lot of people never even got those letters. So it doesn't always mean anything. But usually a 971 code would accompany like a freeze code or an audit code, and that might give you a little more insight into it. So if you see a 971 code that's after like a 570 or 420, that's not good. You don't want to see that. The 415 date on the transcripts, I talked about this earlier. The 415 date, that's the close of the tax cycle. That's a generic date that they put on a lot of the transcripts for different sections of the transcript. It's always that. It's always there. And then if they were to extend the tax season like they did the past couple of years into May, you'd see that 4/15 date change to like the May date. Nothing that tells you anything about the refund one way or another on that as of date or on that tax return processing date. Do I expect this update to happen at midnight tonight, or will it be live? And will I be live as it updates tonight? Oh boy, that's a good question. I promised myself I'd stay on at least until midnight with you guys and answer questions as long as I could. Getting past 2 hours of a live stream is going to be kind of long. I'll stay up. I'll stay as long as I can. I don't expect that the updates are going to occur right at midnight. I think it's going to be a little bit later in the morning, honestly. And then, as I said, the transcript updates they're different than the "Where's My Refund" update. They occur starting in the morning and can continue throughout the day. That's because you have millions of returns having their information funneled to this transcript system, so it takes time for the transcript system to update itself. Whereas, so it's almost like it's information that's not fully determined yet, and it's like taking time for it to finalize that information, and then it posts as it finalizes it. Whereas the "Where's My Refund" update occurs all at once because that's information that was already determined. I hope that makes sense. So the transcript updates can update throughout the day tomorrow. So if you say you go to bed early tonight and you wake up tomorrow at like 7 a.m. and you check and there's no update on your transcript, doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to see an update. You could check later in the day and there might be one. I will say if you haven't seen an update after, say, like 4 or 5 o'clock that night, there's probably not going to be an update for you that day, and you're going to have to wait another week. I'm sorry. That's how it works. Okay. Jada says she has an 846 code, or he, I'm not sure if this is a male or female, but Jada has an 846 code with a direct deposit date of 2/22. Monday is a holiday. The 2/22 is a Tuesday. Completely up to your bank if they want to post that deposit early. I was seeing some reports today of pending deposits for tomorrow with people that had 2/22 dates, but that was like certain banks. So, yeah, you could potentially see it on Friday, but don't plan on it. Just count on Tuesday, and if you get it sooner, that's like a extra, that's all gravy. If you get an 846 code tonight/tomorrow morning, you'll see a deposit for Wednesday. Wednesday is the deposit date. That's February 23rd. Guilty Sins wants to send me his transcript. Listen, guys, I want to help you guys out. I don't want anyone's personal information, so don't try to send me your transcripts. I don't want any of your personal information. That's not what I'm here for. As far as like seeing private stuff, I don't want to see private stuff. I want to help you guys the best I can without, with as much as you can give me without giving me too much. I don't want, we shouldn't be sharing. I don't want to be sharing anyone's personal information or them sharing it with me. So I'll give you the best I can based on the codes you give me and try to talk you through the best I can, but I don't want, it's just, for everyone's safety. I'm trying to look out for you guys. Okay, so Brianna's asking where she would look for the 846 code. This is a good opportunity to talk about how the transcript is organized. Your transcript is organized basically in the order that the IRS does everything on your account. So it starts with you'll see the 150 code on the first line of the transactions. That means your return was posted to the system, and then everything after that is the actions they apply to your account after that. So you'll have like your credits to your account, maybe freeze codes if they're there, hopefully not. Any notices that were issued, hopefully not. And then from there, the very last thing they'll do is the refund issued. So the last line on your transcript, or it could be 2 pages. A lot of people got stimulus payments and those advanced child tax credit payments. So your transcript might be 2 pages. So it's either going to be at the very bottom of that 1 page you have, or if you have 2 pages, it will be at the very bottom of the second page. It's going to say 846 refund issued with a date that date is your direct deposit date and then the amount of the refund. And if you were to look at your transcript as it stands now and you have all the numbers in there, you should see a negative dollar amount. The negative in the top left corner of your transcript, it says account balance. Once again, we're looking at the account transcript. It would say account balance. That's your refund amount. That negative amount will be the refund amount. That refund issued code would be for that refund amount, and then that account balance would say 0 after your refund goes through. Guilty sins, I totally feel you. It's my money and I want it now. I think people have been saying that for years in the forums and stuff I follow. It gets frustrating and it is definitely anxiety inducing for a lot of us. Juan asks the date next to the cycle code, not the one ending in 05, but the other date that says 2/28/22. That's the like the as of or the processing date. Don't read too much into that. That date can change. That's an internal date that the system programs itself to complete the next action by. In most cases, the next action would be literally completing your return. It's a deadline date. It doesn't mean your return is going to be finished on that date. It can be finished weeks before that date. It could also be finished after that date, in which case they could change that date. So I always tell people don't read too much into that date because it doesn't mean a whole lot, because the system can change it as necessary, basically. And if you get it sooner, then that date it just stays there. So you could see that as of date of 2/28, but still get a refund date of 2/23. Anna says she filed on the 25th, a few days ago on Where's My Refund? And said they've received her refund. It's being processed. And she got hers last night in the bank. Congratulations. Love seeing that. Love seeing people say they got their refund. A lot of us are hoping we're next. Chris is asking if the transcripts say NA, can you reference a previous year's transcript to get an idea of your cycle code? I can assure you your cycle code's probably going to be an 05. Whether or not your previous year was an 05 or not, it probably was anyway. But if it's NA at this point, it's probably going to be an 05 anyway, because at a certain point, the NAs get to a certain cutoff where they're just all going to be just thrown into that weekly batch processing. So it's whether or not last year's was an 05, it probably was. If you want to check, it probably was last year. But it's probably going to be an 05 this year anyway. Okay, someone says they have a 768 code, which is a good code. That's an earned income credit code. That's fine. And a 971 code. Whether or not the 971 code is bad or not really depends on where it's placed. If it's placed before all your other codes, kind of like in between your 150 code, but before your credit codes and stuff like that, then it's probably not bad. It probably has something more to do with the stimulus payments or child tax credit that you got in advance if you got child tax credit. If your 971 code is towards the bottom of the transcript, that's when you might start to worry, because that could mean there's something on your account that they need to look at or whatever, and the notice is being issued that there's going to be a slight delay. But it doesn't always mean bad things. Sorry, guys, I'm just going through some of these questions again. Chris, you said you were in 04 last year. Just double check your transcript, right? Make sure there was a lot of people that were 04s on their stimulus payments, which don't count for cycle code. The stimulus payments are separate from your actually tax return. So make sure the 04 code was on the cycle code that's next to the 150 code that says tax return filed, that's the code you'd want to be looking at. Whereas this tax return filed and the cycle code there, that's the one you want to look at. If it was 04, then that's great. Probably not going to be 04 again this year. It's probably going to be an 05. Just based on the fact that you're still not available. You only have 766. This is Michelle. She only has 766, 768. Yeah, that's good. That's credits. Those are 766 would be your child tax credit. 768 earned income credit. Those are good credits. Those are good things you want to see on your tax return. If there's nothing else, as of now, you should be in the clear. You might see, if you looked at your transcript tomorrow, you have a strong possibility of seeing the 846 code. If the system somehow found anything wrong today, then a different code might pop up. I encourage everyone to be positive. Demetrius says they're in 05 when they're going to get their taxes. Well, with any luck, you'll get an update tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, like overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning, and you'll see an update for your taxes coming in the next Wednesday. If not, you'll have to wait another week. Notice issued with a 2021 date. Aisha says notice issued with a 2021 date. Nothing to worry about. That's already passed. Probably had something to do with your stimulus or your child tax payments. I wouldn't worry about that. Batman says, under transactions on my transcript, the first line says code 150 with an amount of $0. Okay, so first off, the 150 code just says that your return has been filed with the system. If there is a $0 amount, it depends if there's any other numbers. If all the numbers are zeros, you don't see anything else like a tax due or anything, then your return isn't done processing yet. That hasn't even really been fully posted to the system yet. As far as like the numbers you put in on your return, that amount that's next to the 150 is the tax due. That's before all the credits and withholding from your employer if you had a job. Or unemployment if you had unemployment. Before all that stuff gets calculated, there's a tax due, and then all that other stuff is subtracted, and then you get your refund. So the 150 code is literally means your return is filed. The cycle code, the processing date, February 28th. Don't worry too much about that. The $0 is weird. Is there zeros anywhere else on the transcript? Are they all zeros? That would just mean that you're not fully processed. Otherwise, the $0 would mean you had no tax liability. So every other number from that would be a refund. Tubas received and process date 2/2. That means they're getting a refund on 2/22. Eddie, congratulations if that's you. If that means you're telling me you got 2 bars, right on. Hopefully we're going to see that soon as well. Okay, transcript doesn't show anything. Angela, if your transcript doesn't show anything from this year, that is normal when your return hasn't posted to the system for final processing yet. So you file your return, you e-file it. I don't know when you filed. You could have filed weeks ago for all I know. I don't know. The IRS has this digital stack of returns. It has to run through the system. Sometimes they get resequenced. Sometimes it takes longer for other returns. But until that return is set for final processing where the system is going to run its final checks in the system, you won't see anything in the transcripts. Once all those numbers finally get input for final processing into the system, then the transcripts would be reflected. You'd see all that stuff reflected in the transcript, and it would go from there. I explained that process a little bit earlier, and I'm getting tired now, and I'm having a hard time coming up with the way I need to describe it, but basically, if it's not overly concerning if you don't see the stuff yet, it's just means it hasn't done final processing yet. Yes, Batman. Okay, so where it says the account balance is negative 1305, that's your refund amount. So when you do get the 846 refund issued, that's going to be the refund amount. Whatever the account balance is, that negative number, that's how much they're going to be sending to you when your return is finalized. So nothing to worry about. You're in good shape. Negative balances are good. Negative numbers are what they owe you. So if the account balance is negative, that means they owe you money. Okay, I'm gonna have to block some people here. It looks like pornography. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to ban some people. You know, I try to help people out, and then this stuff happens. All right. No, if you have a negative balance, it does not mean you're being audited. On your transcript, negative balances are a good thing. That is money that the IRS owes you. If your account balance had a positive number, that means that you owe them money. People, so that's what you don't want to see. So the negative balances are good, not bad. Negative balances are good for you. Ooh. You tried to file your taxes through TurboTax and someone else filed using your social. That hurts so badly. Oh, that can be a mess. I am so sorry. It is a long time to sort out the paper returns. And unfortunately, that can screw you over in future years as well. I really hope you get that sorted out. That's a mess. I am so sorry for that. Kamika says she received her state refund back 4 days after she filed the taxes. Do you have a great chance of getting your federal back, even though it says it's still being processed? You do. I would say you probably have a good chance of seeing an update soon. If the state taxes went through okay, that means they didn't find anything wrong. So I wouldn't see any reason, hopefully, why the federal wouldn't find anything wrong. So good luck. Hopefully you do see an update soon. Hopefully you're in this first massive batch update. Yes, hit hard 007. The my number you put in the box for a refund amount on where's my refund, that's the amount you should be getting back. Unless you did the refund advance or you had fees taken out, that's going to be a different number, different number. Like, whoever you did it through would get that full amount that you're putting into the box, and then you would get the difference. But yes, that's the number. That's the number you're looking for a refund. Is the number you put into the box. Trudy, yes. She ordered the transcript by mail. When would you receive it? It can take up to 2 weeks. So if you're, the funny thing is like if you ordered your transcript, right, and your return what has already been like finished and completed, and your transcript was to update tomorrow morning, then the transcript you just ordered would be different actually, and make it look like it wasn't even done. Meanwhile, you would have already had your refund next week, and you could get your transcript the week after that you ordered on the phone 2 weeks ago. So I always tell people ordering the transcripts on the phone doesn't always help because it could be not done when you ordered it and then be done the next day. So you ordered it the day before it was done, and then it wouldn't really tell you anything. Okay. Hey there. Thanks for all the info. Your returns were accepted on 124. You have the 05 cycle code. You claimed both earned income credit and the recovery rebate. 766-768 have posted. Will you update tonight? Do you want my real honest answer? Hopefully, I will say there was some quirks with the recovery rebate last year, where a lot of people had their returns reviewed on the recovery rebate because the IRS was making sure they really didn't get the stimulus payments they said they didn't get, or that they really qualified for the dependents they were now claiming. So it was holding up a lot of returns last year. Fingers crossed they fixed that, and you might get an update tonight. But I wouldn't be shocked if you were one of the people saying you didn't get an update. Hopefully you do. I really hope you do. Like, I hope it's been a year, so hopefully they have fixed some of these kinks with the new credits they put into the system. But last year was a disaster to the 10th degree with that stuff. Earned income credit, look back credit, that really messed up the system last year. Sorry, guys, I'm doing some more banning. The 05 cycle codes, that end in 05, the only updates you'll see would be on Fridays. So sometime tomorrow morning will be the first massive batch of 05 updates. Okay, I'm going to go back and see if there's any other questions I might have missed here. I can see there's some things I didn't get a chance to ban because I was answering questions. Has anyone thought about what they're doing with their refunds when they do finally get them? I am sticking most of mine aside, saving it for summer vacation with my wife and kids. This is one of the first years I don't actually need the money to pay some bills. Buy a new car. I did that. I did that one year. I bought a car with mine. Paying off student loans. I hear that. Paying rent and catching. I've been there. Paying rent and catching up on bills. Vacation and paying bills. It is amazing to me how many people have to use their refunds to catch up on bills, and that's nothing against you guys. I feel bad that people have to do that. Like I said, I've been there so many times. It says more about the system we live in, where people don't make enough money to be able to pay their bills. Latrice, her son has autism. My middle child has autism as well. He's on the spectrum as well. I understand those bills can be. They can get up there too. And Juggernaut is going to pay monthly expenses so they can have surgery. Good luck with that. Sharon asked, what is an 8862 and how does it work for your dependent? So you have to file an 8862 form If the IRS has ever told you that you're not allowed to claim earned income credit, you need to file the. Is it earned? It might be not only earned, it might be child tax credit as well. But if they tell you you're not allowed to claim those credits, you have to file an 8862 form to claim those credits again and be reconsidered. That certainly delays the refund if you're trying to claim those credits with the form, because they have to review that stuff. Typically, like, you would have to get a notice from the IRS saying that you have to. They would tell you have to file a form 8862. If they never told you had to file 8862 form, you probably wouldn't have to. So I'm curious, Sharon, did your tax professional or your software tell you had to do that? Your tax person did it. Okay. It's probably gonna hold you up, honestly. Those forms get pushed to the back of the line quite frequently. So Guilty Sin's brother got his refund money and bought a PS5. I'm surprised he found one. They're almost impossible to find these days. See a lot of people saying they're doing vacations too. Finding a cash car, a new car, and an apartment. Sorry to hear about the separation page. Hopefully it goes well for you. Christopher, your cycle, the cycle code. If you open up your account transcript, you'll see the code 150 line that says return filed, and then it'll say cycle code, and you'll see the cycle code. It would be 2022, and then a 4-digit number. It could be 06, 05, 05, 05, 04, 03. It's a 4-digit code, and the last 2 digits are 1 through 5. And that is the cycle code we're talking about. Those last 2 digits are what we're looking for. And the 05 means, if you have an 05, that means you're a weekly updater, which means your transcript would update on a Friday. So if you were ever going to see an 846 update on your transcript, it would occur on Fridays or on a Friday. Well, Paige, buy yourself a nice bed. When you move out, get yourself a nice bed. So, Christopher, if you want to get a transcript, you have to open a transcript account or open an IRS account on the irs.gov website and follow all the prompts there. It can be quite complicated, so take your time. Make sure you're filling out everything right, because you don't want to get flagged for identity theft. There's been people that have been locked out of the system because they put like one little piece of information wrong. So make sure you have everything it tells you need before you open the account. TT, what if you had an 846 code and the date passed? That could be troublesome. I'd be curious to see what your date was, and I'd be contacting the IRS and asking why you didn't get that money. That's, I would start with them, and then they would, if they said they issued it, call your bank. But I would start with the IRS first, because if they have the 846 code, what could have happened is the bank could have rejected it and they got sent back to the IRS, and they're going to have to redistribute it as a check. That could be a possibility, but you got to double check with the IRS and see if it got sent back to them. Christopher's asking how being an 05 is determined when you file. That's an interesting question. It's something I've talked about before, and I've asked IRS, those that would know in the system, and typically it's actually determined by the algorithm itself. And it would appear that there's no rhyme or reason to the onlooker, but if you were to actually do a deep dive into why someone was an 05, it's typically because there are things on their returns that would, not saying that people are cheating the system or would be dishonest about, but there are things that people would commonly make mistakes on the returns, say credits being claimed or deductions being taken. Anyone that has a history of claiming certain things, anyone that's ever made a small mistake, say they underreported even a few dollars, could be pushed into that 05 batch. Being an 05 is essentially an opportunity for the system to have someone's return being held just a little bit longer so the system can do those extra checks on it and make sure it's accurate. And that's essentially the reason most people get to be in 05. Yeah, Batman says the 05 means the IRS hates you. Basically, that's essentially what it means. I mean, I'm not calling anyone dishonest, and I don't say like I'm an 05. That'd be like saying I'm cheating the system. I'm not. It's just I got audited one year, like 6 years ago, and ever since then I've been an 05. And the reason I got audited was because I was itemizing my deductions, and I was writing off some of my gas. That year I previously had itemized my deductions, and I started writing off my gas mileage, and the rules you're supposed to do one or the other. And I was doing one or the other, but if you do one, you're not supposed to be able to do the other after that. And I had reversed it for some reason. So I misunderstood the rules. But the way it worked out is when they did my audit and they did it the way I should have claimed everything, I actually ended up getting more money back. So they thought I was trying to cheat the system. I just misunderstood the system as far as itemized deductions versus writing off gas mileage. And in the end, I ended up benefiting from it even more. And it was that audit process essentially that led to me diving even deeper into the system and covering it even more in my videos. Just looking at the timer here, we're at 1:46 in time. We're 14 minutes away from midnight. So if we do happen to get an 846, is it coming Wednesday? Yes. The 846 will be for 223 if we do get it. We have received your refund and it is processing. Does that mean the direct deposit is coming soon? Yes or no? It's an automatic message that the Where's My Refund site will update after so long of your return being into the system. This is my frustration with the IRS guys. I mean, I wish there was more current information on Where's My Refund. They don't tell you anything on Where's My Refund. There's nothing short of when you finally get that 2 bars. There's nothing usable. Itemized deductions. I had some lottery winnings that year. That's why I was itemizing deductions. Hey, they weren't disallowed. They allowed me to use them. And I had proof. So a refund issue date with a 2021 date, it's not good or bad. That's from last year. So if it says a refund issue, it's 2021 and it's on the current year's transcript. That means it's probably from like the child tax credit or one of your stimulus payments. I'm not sure which one. I can't look at your transcript, but chances are that's what it is. That's essentially what the Where's My Refund does have, is the middle finger to us all. Yeah, guys. Speaking of like audits, I actually pulled this out today. This is good if you have. Every year I start a new notebook. I track everything. I basically track every dollar I spend, every bill I pay. I track for my business. I track every mile I drive is tracked. So I keep that. That's what gave me an advantage when I got audited. Is I track everything. If I could make one suggestion to people, like I'm not a tax accountant, but what I do know is the system, and I do know how to like use it for your advantage. And the biggest thing I can say is like track everything and write everything down. And it gets tedious after a while. Like I literally, if I buy a cup of coffee in the morning, I write it down. I like to know where all my money is going, and it probably seems a little obsessive. And it's something I started doing a couple of years ago, as far as like tracking every penny I spend. But since I started doing that, not only has my tax situation improved, but just like my year-round financial situation improved. You got to know where you're spending your money and where it's going. Adam, it's a favorable hat. Shout out to Andrew Nemi. Probably doesn't watch these videos, but represent. Why does everyone call the IRS site WMR? It stands for Where's My Refund? It would be more accurate to call GTR, Get Refund Status. I do know Where's My Refund will take you GRS. Interesting point. Can you use your 2020 income or just 2019 for a look back? It's only for the 2019. It's a COVID-specific credit. So the whole reason for the look back is to use the credit from pre-COVID. That's why the date is for 2019. It's also temporary, so I don't know how much longer they're going to be allowing that look back credit, guys. So if you want to take it while you can, but also just be aware of the potential of that holding up a refund, because they're going to verify that you actually qualified for the earned income credit. And the reason I say that is like there was people last year that had their earned income credit, they used look back, and then they ended up not getting their earned income credit because even though they used look back for the current year they filed for, they had too much income to even get earned income credit. So the look back couldn't apply. And for some reason, there was a glitch in a lot of the software processors that didn't realize you still have to qualify for earned income credit. It just gives you the option of taking the bigger of the two. But if you don't qualify for an income credit, that look back gets disallowed. So there was a lot of people that had their refund stalled, and then they got the refund without the look back credit. Yeah, Poison One saying last year a lot of people waited 2+ months to get it, and a big part of that was these new credits. They seem like they're not new anymore because it's been a year, but we all know the IRS. They're so slow. They're slow in issuing things, and they're slow in fixing problems. Yes, there is going to be a massive update tonight. It's a massive predicted update, but we pretty much are pretty positive there's going to be a big batch transcript update tonight, and which would mean the Where's My Refund update, the Get Refund Status update would be on Saturday. 766 with an amount for recovery rebate would be a good sign. That's a credit you're getting to your account. Going back through some of these questions and comments. Terry says, I honestly feel like people who were accepted on the first couple of days as an early filer were pushed to the back burner. It's funny because the old habits die hard. For years, if you wanted an early refund, this is like the pre-PATH days. If you wanted an early refund, filing early, if you had all your tax information, filing that like first couple weeks or first few weeks of January was the way to go because you knew you would get a refund that last week in January or the first week in February. And it seems like ever since the PATH Act was enacted, lots of those people that just out of habit file super early, for some reason they do get pushed to the back burner. Their returns get resequenced. Not everyone, a lot of people still get early refunds, but a lot of them get resequenced and then kind of like pushed to the back of the pile, the digital pile, so to speak. Eddie wants to know if he's going to see a date tomorrow. He's an 05 batch. He filed January 18th. Eddie, as long as there's nothing wrong with your return, you have we'll put it at 70% chance of seeing that 846 tomorrow. That's the whole purpose of this stream, because there's going to be a lot of people that have been waiting for a few weeks that haven't seen any 570 or 420 codes on their transcript. For those people, we know there's a very strong possibility that there's going to be an 846 update on the transcripts overnight tonight into tomorrow. Josh wants to know why it says NA on the transcript. We've talked about this a lot tonight. I also have a video on this, guys. If you ever, a lot of these subjects I'm covering tonight and we're talking about, and these questions I'm answering, there's pretty much a video on my YouTube DS Entertainment YouTube page. There's pretty much a video covering all this stuff. NA on transcripts basically just means your return isn't finished processing yet. It isn't in the final stage of processing. When it gets to that final stage, that's when it will post to the transcript system, and you'll be able to see everything they've done to this point. Filed February 3rd. Will you be seeing it tomorrow? The transcripts don't show the 2021. So hopefully you'll see at least the 2021 populate tomorrow, and you'll have a chance to see something that's going on. V says we're not going to be able to check the transcripts because they're going to crash. And that is absolutely almost 1,000% guaranteed. There are, I said earlier, there's 25 million people. There was 25 million people last year on Path, and there's probably going to be even more this year. But let's just keep the number at 25 million. Maybe like 20, 30,000 people saw an update, and the first small update earlier this week. That means there's going to be about at least a few million tax returns getting updated tonight, and that means there's going to be double that few million that actually do get updated. There's going to be double that trying to check the system. It's for sure going to crash the system again. It's going to be even worse than earlier this week. Las Vegas should set a betting line on the return system, the transcript system crashing, and how long it's going to take for them to fix it. It took me, it took over 24 hours for me to be able to check my transcript after the first update earlier this week. Josh says he already received his federal. Congratulations. Christopher, no. The major update on Where's My Refund is going to be on Saturday. So around Saturday morning, around 6 a.m., it should all be finalized. So people that saw an 846 or were able to see an 846 on their transcript tonight, those would be the people that would see the Where's My Refund update on Saturday morning. Sorry, guys. I've been doing this for 2 hours. Juggernaut, you're welcome. I'm glad I can help. I'm definitely not trying to scam anyone. That's why I told people don't send me your information. I don't want to know. I just want to, whatever the generic information you're sending me is how I'm trying to decipher what your situation is and helping you the best I can with that. I do not want personal information. I'm totally happy to help anyone. As I said, this is all my knowledge is a culmination of my own journalistic reporting on the IRS over a period of almost 12 years, my own experience with filing my taxes on myself and being audited. I'm self-employed. I'm also employed as well, but I'm self-employed. And just because I'm self-employed automatically puts me at higher risk of a lot of that stuff. So I have a lot of knowledge of the in and outs of the system anyway. Sorry, guys, I'm just going back through these questions. Getting towards the end of when I was planning on ending the stream. I'm still here, so we're still live. You didn't miss that much, Miss Yolanda. Although I was getting ready to wrap up around midnight, I might stay a little bit longer. I just know that we're not going to have a transcript update now at midnight. It's going to be later in the morning. I'm almost sure of it. Sharon, as far as when you should file, if you fall under path, whether it's before or after, like the only like as long as you have all your information, it doesn't really matter too much when you file. I mean, the sooner you file, and as long as it's accurate, the sooner you're going to get it. If you file before path lifts and everything's accurate, then that first week after path lifts is when people start seeing those updates for the early refunds. And by early, we mean like the third week in February. I know the IRS always says the path people shouldn't expect their refunds until March, and they say the same thing every year. I mean, the fact is that path people already have an update. Like there was that first small batch of people that were on path have already gotten an update saying they're getting direct deposited on February 22nd. So that tells you right there that the IRS is full of it when they say you're not going to get anything till March. It's all how the system operates. It's the IRS has a lot of things because they don't want to get flooded with calls, and right now they're short-staffed, especially the customer service end of it. And there's very little that the customer service people can tell you anyway. It's just they have a script basically they're supposed to stick to. So I would say file as soon as you have all the information, and if it happens to be before path, then go for it. The sooner you file, the sooner you're going to get your refund. Do you need perfect credit to get approved for a refund advance? Good question. The better your credit, the better your chances. You can still get it if you have bad credit. They tell you your credit isn't supposed to affect it, but I can tell you it does. I've spoken with people. And I actually spoke to someone at Credit Karma, and it's basically the higher your credit score, the higher amount they're willing to give you on the advance. People with a lower score can still get the advance, but it's going to be a lower amount. So like my wife and I this year, we took the refund advance just because why not? I wanted to take it and review my experience with it for YouTube, which I did. I always try to do things that I can give information on and help you guys out. I do the same thing like throughout the year with different products I buy. If I like them, I'll review them. So if there's a tax product I can review that might help people out or might give people information about how it worked, I'll do it. And I chose to do that this year with the refund advance. I said earlier in the video, this is the first year we really didn't need our refund. So whenever I got the refund, it was fine. So I figured why not get some of it early and see how the system works. So that's what I did. And I haven't even touched it. I got it a couple weeks ago. I haven't even touched my refund advance yet, but I wanted to do it for the video. So I said earlier, I track everything. I'm very conscientious about my spending habits, and my financial situation since I started doing that has vastly improved since I started tracking where I spend my money, and also that has helped me really greatly improve my credit score over the past few years. So when we did the refund advance, we got approved for the maximum amount because our credit's good. So the higher your credit, the more money they're going to give you. Benjamin says he has horrible credit and got the full amount. That could be more towards why you probably the amount of your refund itself it plays a part too. There's various things they look at. And I'm not saying it's all set in stone. I'm just saying what I was told was the better your credit, the more money they're willing to give you. But if you have a high refund amount, they're also going to be willing to give you probably that money too if they know they're going to get that money back. seeing people say in the comments that the transcripts site has crashed. It's going to get even worse. It's going to get even worse. It might get to the point where we're just relying on where's my refund, which is going to be really sad. I can see the IRS just after the way things have gone this week. I can see in the years to come, the IRS just like canning the transcript system altogether. I'm not saying that anyone told me that might happen. I'm just kind of putting it out there that I wouldn't be surprised, knowing the IRS and how it operates. And they know that there is a large segment of the population that checks their transcripts to find out their refund status. And they don't like it when we do that. So I can see them just canning the whole transcript system altogether and making it unavailable online. They did that one year, actually. Trying to think of what year it was. They did it for like the first 4 months of the tax season. 2015, I think it was. 2016, when people caught on that you could check your transcript and see the refund before where's my refund. And the system crashed back then. And then they just made it unavailable to people, and people couldn't check it online anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Paige wants to know if I can do a video on how I track my spending, personal details. But what I found works best for me, I absolutely could if that's something that people would be interested in. I'm not a financial coach, but I certainly have tips that could help people in their finances. I've been through it all, so. Batman, when you say you looked at I'm assuming your transcript and you're not impressed, if you're talking about just now, I wouldn't expect to see anything just now, honestly. Motivating vision. You missed the explanation of code. You did. I'm not sure which code you're looking at the description of. But also, just to plug my other videos again, there is a full transcript breakdown where I cover a lot of the codes on the transcript anyway. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, on the DS Entertainment Network YouTube channel. It's called Tax Resources. It's all the tax videos I've ever made. And there's a couple videos on transcripts specifically. And there's one I did last year that's still accurate today. It's called the Full Transcript Breakdown. And I break down a bunch of the codes you would expect to see on your transcript and what they all mean and how you can decipher them. So if there's any codes you have a question about, I do cover them in that video. The one code I didn't cover in that video, it gives me chills to think about, because some people have mentioned it today, and that is the 420 code. The dreaded 420 code. I really am so sorry for those people that see that code on their transcript. That is a bad audit code. You do not want to see that code on your transcript. You're in for the long haul with that one. I'm so sorry if you see that code. Juan, the 570 code. Yeah, that's the 228.22 is a deadline for them to do the next action on that freeze. It could be before. If it's going to be after that date, you might see that date change to a later date, and they'll just redo their deadline. But if it's something simple that they can fix real quick, that 571 code after the 570 could appear before that 228 date. But that's like an internal deadline date that the system sets. There's not a person sitting there pressing a button, putting that date in. KC, someone will get a 420 code if their return is kicked over to the audit department. That's what the 420 means. On the transcript. Yes, Batman. 420 is a great code for other things, but not on your transcript. Maybe they should have picked a different one. Is it possibly picked up in the next refund batch if you filed 215 and accepted the same day? Yeah, if you filed on 215, you wouldn't be a part of this week's batch. The earliest you would expect to see one would be next week's batch. 971 all the way at the bottom of the transcript, that's the last action performed. So there's probably something in your account that needs further looking into, and that's what the 971's about. I can't tell you specifically what the letter says. There was someone in the chat earlier that said you can log into your IRS account and look at the letters they sent you, and you might be able to see what it is there. I haven't tried that, so I don't know. Chuck, we find these codes on the account transcripts. So if you have access to the transcript system on irs.gov, those are the codes we're talking about. You would log in and look for the account transcripts. If you do not yet have access to the transcript system, you have to set up an account with the IRS. Make sure you input all your information accurately. Follow the steps. Make sure you have everything you need before you do it, because you don't want to get locked out. And then you would get into the transcript system and pull up the 2021 account transcripts. Do I have any opinions on Free Tax USA? Never used them. I'm sure they're a great company, though. I don't want to get sued. Well, guys, I mean, I've answered. I think I've pretty much answered all these questions. If you came in late and I didn't get to answer your question specifically, I probably answered it earlier in the stream. So when I end the stream, you can always go back to earlier in the stream, or you can. I think just about every question I answered tonight is probably answered in my other YouTube videos as well. I'm just looking to see if there's anything I didn't cover. Just double checking. Juan, I answered that question about the 570 code. The 228 on your 570 code is an internal date that the system automatically sets for itself. It's like an internal deadline. It doesn't guarantee that the 570 code will be lifted by then, but if it's something that's simple that they can fix rather quickly, then it will be. It could be before then. I mean, you could look next week and it could be done, but it's completely dependent on whatever it's being. I don't know what your return is being frozen for, so I can't say specifically when it will be done. But the simpler the issue that they fix, the sooner it gets released. So as soon as you see a 571 code, that's immediately followed by an 846 code. So if they already fixed it, you're saying they already fixed it, then it should be done by the 28th. In fact, it should be done before then. The mass update tonight is for the transcripts of the people with the 05 ending cycle codes that I'm estimating filed and were accepted before February 11th. Those people would see a massive update. Oh, there's going to be a massive update for those people. About 70% of those people are going to see an 846 code in the early morning hours of Friday into the day on Friday, which means a lot of people are going to be seeing a refund update on where's my refund on Saturday with the 2 bars. Yeah, Juan, if you claimed a stimulus that you already got, that's exactly why it was frozen. But if they corrected it fairly quickly, then it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Batman, I'm glad you love this channel. James, you're welcome. I'm glad I could help people. Paige, I'm happy I could get everyone together. I wish I had the energy to go straight through until everybody gets an update at like 4 in the morning, but I know I'm already running out of gas. We've been going for almost 2 hours and 15 minutes. So yeah, a lot of people are going to see updates tomorrow. I once again just to kind of close this out. One way or another, I'm probably going to make an update video tomorrow. It's going to be one of two things. It's going to be like a celebratory video for like a large amount of people that saw their 846 codes on their transcripts, which I'll also explain about. I'm sure there's people that didn't see the stream tonight. I'll explain about how there's going to be a map, which is going to be followed by a massive "Where's my refund" update on Saturday. Or I'm completely wrong, which I highly doubt, or I could be completely wrong, and I'm going to have to make an apology video apologizing to you guys that I completely misread the situation tonight and there was no update. But this is traditionally the first night of the biggest update of the to date. It's like the past few years, that path is lifted. That first Friday after path is lifted is when there's the most amount of refund updates. So this is the big one we've been waiting for. I said in the description of the video, this is like the Super Bowl of the tax season. This is the Daytona 500. It's the Wrestlemania of the tax year, because this is when the most people are going to see of the the early filers see their things update. So we'll see what happens. I truly hope that the bulk of us are going to get an 846 update on our transcripts. If you can't see your transcript, have no fear. You still might see that "Where's my refund" update on Saturday morning. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not even going to bother trying to check my transcript until 6 a.m. Eastern time. I'm going to bed, and then in about 5.5 hours, I'm going to wake up and check my transcript. And if it's not updated yet, I'm going to go back to bed for a couple hours and check again. Well, actually, we might not even see. It might crash. It might crash. I think it's going to be worse than earlier this week, honestly, with the transcript system crashing. Guys, I've been It's 12:16 a.m. here in Boston, and I've been up since 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. So I've been up for over 20 hours at this point. Just one final look at the comments. I keep on saying one final look. You guys keep on keeping me here. Oh, yeah, we talked earlier about what people are doing with their refunds. So a lot of people buying a car, paying bills, vacations, which is what I'm doing, taking my wife and kids out on vacation. Okay. So I hope everyone has a good night. I hope the bulk of us wake up with an update tomorrow on the transcripts. As I said, I'll make an update video tomorrow for everybody. So, yeah, that's it for tonight. Good night, guys. Have a good one.